Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. If you're here live on the preparedmind.club, or if you're live on subscribestar.com, you can ask questions with me right now live. And I want to welcome all the new subscribers. We've been trickling in. People are waking up and realizing, hey, this is the winning side to be on. It doesn't mean we're not in a fight. It doesn't mean shit hasn't hit the fan. It doesn't mean it's going to be over next week. That is for certain. Politics as usual in Washington, D.C., you bet. Politics, is it going to become a huge fight? You bet. Because Trump is in and the fight is on. And I would rather, and I'll say this again and again and again, I would rather have the fight up in Washington, D.C. than in our front yards. Oh. And speaking of fighting in our front yards, get your questions down below for Mr. Man. We'll do my monologue, then 30 minutes of your guys' questions. But speaking of having the fight in the front yard, Adam Shifty Schiff, Adam I shit my pants because I'm a fruitcake, is now going to become a U.S. senator. Sadly, the sack of shit has defeated Steve Garvey in the state of California. So he is a new senator. That's right. Old loose bunghole himself. I shit myself Schiff. He is saying that Trump, get this, he thinks he is so important, so powerful that Trump is planning to use the military against him. Really, folks. 1 week, pencil neck, bug-eyed faggot needs the military to throw the smelly butt pirate in jail? Really? I'm pretty sure that Shitty Schiff is going to love prison showers. Now, the Senate is already considering saying, you know what? You don't get to be on any committees until we look into and investigate your role in the Russia collusion bullshit and impeachment cases. You don't get to just come in and run the show, shifty shithead. And folks, that's going to be part of the fight that goes on, is who runs the show? Who runs the show? Who has the authority? Who has the mandate? Who is the boss? Well, it's not him. It certainly isn't, folks. But Zelensky, he thinks he's the boss. He thinks he's in charge, right? That's right. Ukrainian President Voldemort Light in the Loafers Zelensky, he is threatening Russia. He threatens Russia because, get this, Biden gave him permission to fire long-range missiles into Russia. And after Biden said that, well, here comes France, here comes England, going, yeah, we agree. You've got our permission too. Oh, really? Right? This is a big deal, folks. Now, I don't really believe that the deep state Biden team actually gave Zelensky permission. After all, American military know-how is required to operate and target the Russians. Ukrainians can't do it themselves, so fuck Zelensky. Additionally, I just think it is, they gave him a little more rope to run around and bark, put on a good show, talk tough, try and look cool. But I don't think he's got the balls. And I don't think he has the real permission. I think it's a ruse. It's a feint. It's a fucking bluff. Now, Voldemort did decide to go on the news and talk all tough. Here's his quote. The plan to strengthen Ukraine is the victory plan which I presented to our partners. Oh, you see, Zelensky, who has managed to lose a war after being supplied with money, weapons, tanks, helicopters, munitions, explosives, artillery, hundreds of billions of dollars, and he hasn't been able to do anything to Russia. And I spoke with a military expert an officer, again, got a hold of a Marine Corps officer and said, hey, he goes, Russia isn't even trying. They're just playing games and stalling and fucking with the Ukrainians. It's not that people aren't dying and that weapons aren't being fired, but they have not, Russia, turned loose with their military. So let me get back to Voldemort Zelensky. You know, the great commander who's done jack shit. The victory which I presented to our partners. One of its key points is long-range capabilities for our army. Today, there is a lot of talk in the media about receiving permission for respective actions. Strikes are not carried out with words. Such things are not announced. Missiles will speak for themselves. They certainly will. If missiles speak for themselves, Voldemort, nukes speak much, much louder. But let's just do this. Let's just say if Zelensky, as a U.S. puppet, fires his missiles into Russia, that is the same as Biden doing it because Biden has given him permission. He's given him the weapons. And it is an aggressive act of war against a nuclear superpower by a president who has done that without congressional declaration of war. Without a congressional declaration of war, he is ostensibly committing an act of war against a sovereign nation that is a military nuclear superpower. It is a massive constitutional violation, and it's treasonous if one American is killed. This smells, folks, to high heaven. It stinks as bad as the whole Afghan withdrawal that was a complete debacle. The world has lost respect for Biden and for Washington, D.C. These types of decisions, this type of rhetoric and stupidity causes unnecessary deaths, and they will follow any move that Zelensky makes with Biden's approval. So the question is, will Zelensky do it and face a hypersonic missile response? Hypersonics possibly tipped with nuclear warheads. I asked if they could do that, if it was possible. And I was told I can't answer those questions you're asking, John. So I do have kind of a military insider. He's not sharing anything huge. He can't talk about a lot of stuff. But yeah, he's like, I can't talk about that. But essentially, he didn't say it's not possible. So they are risking World War III. Crazy, crazy business. Now, you want nuclear war here in America? Well, how about political nuclear war, SHTF style? Allegedly, Mitch McConnell said to a reporter that he's not going to allow Trump to have recess appointments. Well, Florida Senator Rick Scott, who did not win majority leadership in the Senate, he said, no. He says, yes, there will be, meaning there will be recess appointments. There's a lot going on behind the scenes in Washington right now. The reporter that said that Mitch McConnell said there's going to be no recess appointments, the reporter has not retracted that statement or walked it back or clarified the comment. She just removed the post. And so now X is a firestorm and it's blazing over this. And the Democrats and the Republicans against Trump, the rats, they're feeling the heat. And what is more, folks, in an X post, the Senate Republican leader, not McConnell, Senate Republican Thune, who is a rhino, and we're going to find out if he's a fucking rat, had this quote: "We must act quickly and decisively to get the president's nominees in place as soon as possible. And all options are on the table to make that happen, including recess appointments." Now, there you go. All he, as Senate leader, has to do is call a recess. Done. Let Trump name everyone he wants. But Senator Thune continues. He says, we cannot let Schumer and Senate Democrats block the will of the American people. Now he's trying to talk like he's a Republican, a staunch Republican. Well, if half the fucking Republican senators vote against Matt Gaetz, RFK Jr., then it's not Schumer and the Senate Democrats, it's the fucking rats in the Republican Party. So I have a question. I want you to kind of think about this. Does Trump have a leash on Senator Thune now? Has Senator Thune been advised of his rights and his duties? I guess we'll have to wait and see how big of a shitheel rat he is, or if he is being forced to be a real human being and act like a Republican. We're going to find out, folks. It's going to get ugly. Now, speaking of ugly, the FBI, their officials, the Department of Justice, at the Attorney General's office, government workers there, officials, high-level asswipes are now hiring criminal defense lawyers because Trump is coming. Folks, we all need to think about what's happening. These Democrats all know that they are criminals. You and I, we don't get to see everything they do. We don't get to hear everything they say. We get little pieces. We see a little bit of the consequences of their actions. Every now and then we hear some really outlandish shit, like Attorney General Merrick Butlick Garland calling American parents domestic terrorists. And he's turned the FBI loose, the Department of Justice loose on the enemies of the Democrat Party. We're really not supposed to be enemies. We're just supposed to be the other political party, the one that wants freedom, liberty, and the Constitution. But they're treating us like an enemy, jailing American patriots, using the court system to attack American patriots. Folks, the Democrats, they know they're criminals. And they're revealing to us that we are correct in assuming their crimes are bad. And their crimes are public. We've seen enough of them. The threats that they used, the prosecutions were real, and in my opinion, treasonous. Right? Garland, the Attorney General, Mayorkas of the DHS, McCabe of the FBI, and many others, they're getting defense attorneys together because they know it is coming. They know they're in trouble, folks. They do. And this is incredible. The criminality, folks, in government is off the hook, and it's now in our faces. They're not afraid. They just threw an election judge in jail, and they're charging him with a massive felony. He's going to get years in jail for allowing 11 unregistered voters to vote. 11. That's not good enough for me. Right? In Bucks County, Pennsylvania, that's where the county commissioner there openly said that they're going to count illegal ballots and they'll just do what they want. They don't care what the courts say. They broke the law, folks. They're counting illegal ballots. They're doing it in broad daylight, right? And so they're saying, well, they contributed to Democrat Bob Casey's campaign. Can this county commissioner, can they be held criminally liable? Could. How about fucking arrest and prosecute? It's fraud in our faces in broad daylight, folks. Not only is it the commissioners, but the people counting the votes. They went and had to ask permission. Hey, we got a box full of votes, ballots. They're not signed right. The addresses are wrong. They're not signed at all. They're fraudulent, and they're just counting every fucking thing they want in broad daylight and said, we don't care. The Supreme Court, after that event, The Supreme Court of Pennsylvania came out and said, no, you can't count the votes. It is a court decision. It's a court order. So now what? What about all of those votes that were just counted? Are they going to throw them out? Or are they going to just say, okay, we won't do it anymore? Why aren't they going to jail? They violated the law. This is where we need some serious law enforcement. Folks, if I do anything, oh shit, John did 58 and a 55. We better give him a fucking speeding ticket. Yeah, son of a bitch in Swedish, dude. I'm going to fucking send you to take your money. These fucking people commit election fraud. Screw over Americans who are hard workers, taxpayers, and they don't get any trouble. And unbelievable. Well, Trump, I think, is going to make quite a difference. It's going to be a shit show in D.C. starting January 20th. I'm curious what the very first thing he's going to do is. After he gets sworn in, he gives a speech. I don't know if he's going to tell the illegals, you better start running. Well, they're already running. I don't know if he's going to tell the Democrats, you better start running. I sure hope hundreds of thousands of Americans show up in Washington, D.C. and make it a hell of a celebration. And I am worried about Trump taking a bullet at that. I'm worried about that. I wonder, is Antifa and BLM, by that time, are they going to lose their fucking minds and go nuts and get violent? Well, somewhere in the state of Pennsylvania, guess what? Someone got their house burned down for having a Trump sign in it. And not long ago, someone tried to burn their house down for having a Trump sign. That didn't scare the person. They've got, they're very brave and stern, and they got their fucking house burned to the ground for it. These lefties are dangerous. People like Shifty Schiff, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, scumbags like Biden and Kamala, they promote and they glorify and glamorize this violence. And don't forget, it is Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Bill and Hillary Clinton, and many others high level that are likely responsible for everything that's going on. It is a war, folks, over control of this nation. You and I, we elected President Trump, and it is our will behind him versus their will to fuck us over. Well, at least up front, we're going to be fighting and winning, folks. Trump has nominated Brendan Carr as FCC chairman. And as FCC, that's the Federal Communications Commission chairman, he let the wokies, the woketards, he said, quote, the FCC will end its promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Translation, being a freak does not qualify you for any job that you demand of others. Good. This is going to be part of his program in every single bureaucratic institution, period. And the SEC is going to get one hell of a haircut, facelift, and they're going to have to do their job. That is the Security and Exchange Commission that has been allowing massive manipulation on Wall Street to the benefit of the banks and against everyone who's got a 401k and invests. The manipulation and the cheating, the naked fucking shorts, it all needs to come to an end. It all needs to come to an end, folks, and it can. Now get this. Illegal immigration is going to come to an end. A very big, hairy, and scary end. Trump has confirmed, folks, that he's going to declare a national emergency on the immigration crisis, the immigration invasion. And he says he's going to use the military to help with mass deportations. Now, The illegals are probably scared shitless. A lot of them are going to Canada. A lot in the town of Springfield where they're eating the pets and eating the cats and eating the dogs. Those Haitians are fleeing. They're running away. But I've got news for the LGBTQIA plus pedophile crowd. Oh my God, trannies and gays. The military being used. It sounds like Trump is going to get you guys, the fruitcakes, and expel you from the country. And maybe even Elon Musk is going to throw you in his spaceship and send you to Mars. Panic, panic. You little limp-wristed dweebs. Can you imagine the panic that they're feeling? As if he really is Hitler and he's going to give them all gold stars. No. That was the Jews. Pink triangles. Oh, I wouldn't worry about it, but I guess they are. They're going to worry about it. Well, if Trump can do that to other human beings, then he's going to do it to us. Let them think that. They're going to be scared to fucking death. Maybe they'll even get scared enough to shut up and get back in the fucking closet. It's fucking cracking me up. But trust me, folks, they're going to be committing suicide. They're going to be committing homicide. The left have lost their fucking minds. Now, get this. I've told you the fight is on. This is not going to be Trump going in the ring like Mike Tyson 30 years ago and beating the shit out of, an amateur. The left is going to fight the whole fucking way. Apparently, it's becoming very evident that there is a leaker inside the Trump transition team. And this leaker seems to have a vendetta with Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth. I got to get used to saying his name. Pete Hegseth is the Secretary of Defense that Trump wants. And the left is scared to death of him because he wants to get rid of woke DEI bullshit in the military. But there's a great lesson here that there's a leaker inside Trump's transition team. Number one, flush now. Make an example of them. Make an example of the leakers. Expose them and say, this is a traitorous piece of shit. Right? Traitor. Not loyal to Trump, not loyal to America, trying to destroy our mandate and fuck up Trump. Number two, Trump should learn from this that he can't trust anyone and to always, always, always be testing people around him to see what they do with secret information. Give them a little something and only that one person, that little something, and see if it ends up in the public. See if the Democrats hear about it. Then you know he's got another little mole, right? But yeah, there is definitely a vendetta against Pete Hegseth. There's a vendetta against Matt Gaetz. There's a vendetta against RFK Jr. Folks, it's incredible. RFK Jr., fucking Democrats loved him. I wonder how they got him to pose with a fucking McDonald's sandwich on Air Force One. I wonder what they had to say to him. He did not have a happy look sitting there with a fucking Happy Meal in front of him. It was pretty hilarious. Oh, Nelly, we've got some fucking fights coming. We do, folks. Now, the fight, okay, it's coming in Washington, D.C., but it's already started in Florida. That's right. Well, at least this way. Trump's attorney in Florida, his big shot, number one attorney, has launched a surprise forensic voter roll audit because he wants to expose voter fraud. He's not even going to wait till Trump's in office, folks. It is time for lawfare against the fraudsters. It is time to turn attorneys loose against the Democrats. And they don't just get publicly embarrassed. They don't just get a little slap on the wrist. I think they need a big bonus called jail time. I really, really hope that they get this done. Now, if it's a Trump judge, odds are good. If it's a Bush judge, probably not. If it's a Biden judge, not a fucking chance. Isn't that crazy how the law it relies upon who appointed them? Right? Either you're for the Constitution or you're against it. If you're against it and your rulings are constantly in conflict with the Constitution, I think judges should be removed. Maybe even sent to jail. You see, if there was a fucking penalty for lawmakers, right? We call them lawmakers. They're statute makers, right? House of Representatives, Assembly, the Senate. If there was a penalty for violating the law, they should go to jail, right? If they pass a rule, a statute, a law, you get to go to jail. Same with bureaucrats. If you take a law, a statute that was passed, and you write it into a regulation in such a way as to deprive others of their rights, you get to go to jail. And if a judge hears a court case and makes a shitty ruling that gets overturned by the court above them, then they get to go to jail. You see, when I fuck up, when you fuck up, when Uman fucks up, when any of us fuck up, we pay the penalty. Big time. And we would go to jail. So why don't they? Why don't bureaucrats and legislators and judges and even governors go to jail? They should. They should. Fucking people. I mean, it's lies and damned lies. But get this, folks. A former FBI agent is sounding the alarm. And he's warning. Steve Bannon came out and said, yeah, Kash Patel is going to be the FBI director. I think, maybe, possibly. And then he retracted that. Once again, they're trolling the media. They're trolling the Democrats. The FBI, folks, that's a big one. Trump got what he wanted. He exposed the rats. That's Republicans against Trump. He exposed the rats in the Senate by appointing Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. He's exposing other rats and shit-ass Democrats with RFK and with Tulsi Gabbard and John Ratcliffe. But he has not named who is going to be in charge of the FBI. Well, a former agent goes on the mainstream media and says Kash Patel as FBI director would inflict, quote, massive damage on the Bureau. Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Really? You mean Andrew McCabe lying his fucking ass off? That hasn't caused any problem? Failing to uphold the law, failing to enforce the law, failing to investigate crime? And Ruby Rod Rosenstein, him and his fucking lies? That's no problem. Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, the evil little fucking elf, that didn't hurt the FBI. James Comey, sack of shit, lying turd of an attorney who was in charge of the FBI. He wasn't bad. He didn't cause massive damage to the reputation of the FBI. Raiding President Trump's private estate in Florida. That didn't do damage, massive damage to the Bureau, their reputation. So let's ask this question to the inverse of this former FBI agent, right? So you, former dude, Mr. Communist, if you are so dedicated to the FBI and you care so much about them, why aren't you still working there? Trump is not in charge of it, right? Why aren't you working there if you give a shit so much? See, this is deep state fear at play, folks. You know, I want us all to be able to think about what's going on here. What do you think of that? Your thoughts on the FBI. Is Trump holding out, naming somebody so that he can cause a huge freak out in the FBI? Is he trying to find out what games they're trying to play, who they're going to try and screw over? The former FBI and CIA leadership are a bunch of backstabbing pieces of shit. Yes, they are. John Brennan, I believe, is a fucking Muslim convert, communist. But, you know, he works for, was it CNN or NBC as a mouthpiece. These fucking people are all anti-American, folks. Anti-American. I don't see it any other way. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's time for you guys. Let's do it. Let's have some fun. You guys in the inner circle, it is your turn. Right. What do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? We've got a lot to discuss, folks. I hope you're prepared as well. And we've got Village Idiot checking in. And he says, did the U.S. just order all warships to sea? I don't know. But Biden has sent more military ships over off the coast of Lebanon, Israel, into that area. We also have our Blue Water Navy. I believe they're in the South China Sea area. I believe we got carrier groups in the Persian Gulf. They're projecting a lot of military power, but it's a different world. Right now, it's starting to look like, with the technology and the technological advances and changes in military strategy, that they could just attack the ever-loving shit out of us with inexpensive drones that could kamikaze giant ships and take out radar dishes, airplanes, helicopters, personnel, etc. War is changing, folks. Every time they came up with the reservoir or tank. That's what it was originally called, a reservoir. It's a stupid fucking name. So then they changed it to tank. Tank warfare. Right? It's incredible. I don't know, Village Idiot, but we've got a lot at sea already. The United States of America has hundreds and hundreds of military bases, not just in our country, but around the world. In Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in South America, North America. They're everywhere. Very expensive game to be playing. And it's being played by idiots. Anyways, thank you for that. I'll keep my eye out. I can't confirm it. Booman could not confirm it, but he wanted to bring it up. Let's keep our eyes out. Will there be a sacrificial ship like the Gulf of Tonkin incident? Will it be an attempt like when the Israelis, that's right, the Israeli government sent their planes to try and sink the USS Liberty? They bombed the shit out of it. The ship would not sink. How about the Lusitania? How about the Maine? I know I'm going back in history a little bit here. Pearl Harbor, where many ships were attacked in order to draw the United States of America into war. Now, trust me, folks, there's military, not just our ships. Do you think for a second Russia, which has an enormous nuclear submarine fleet, nuclear powered and nuclear weaponed, do you think they're right offshore? A couple of miles offshore? Do you think they have the ability to fire ICBMs out of their nuclear missile submarines? How about hypersonic missiles? Do you think they can fly those? Oh, folks, it's a crazy world. Anyways, can't confirm it, but let's keep our eyes out open. Keep your head on a swivel. Ooh, man, who wants to step up next? And we got Diving Frog. And he says, the nukes come out into play when the bankers say so. It doesn't matter who's in the White House. Just watch the money and the banks. That's an interesting statement. I believe that you are more right than wrong. The bankers. Who are the bankers? Well, we see our local bank. Well, they're not in charge. Then we've got the Federal Reserve. Do you think Chairman Powell, Chief Goon Powell, do you think he calls the White House and tells them what to do? I don't think so. But who owns the Federal Reserve Bank? Well, there you have it. European aristocrats. European aristocrats. Who is the World Economic Forum populated with? European aristocrats. Who are the Davos dudes? European aristocrats. Who are the globalists? European aristocrats. Those people are the ones donating money, buying politicians, and yeah, they're the ones who give the say-so. And they don't like Russia, folks. Why? Well, can't they just tell Russia what to do? No. You see, Russia doesn't borrow money from European bankers, European aristocrats. And the Europeans hate that. They hate it. They want Russia in their grasp, all those natural resources, all that energy. Sorry, you can't have it. Same with China. China is playing its own game against America. China is playing its own game against America to weaken America and cause a cultural revolution. That's what they've been vying for. So you and I are facing enemies on both sides, folks. We have China, who hates us and wants a communist revolution. On the other side, you have European bankers funding anti-American groups like Antifa, BLM, and the Hamas Palestinian groups. They don't like us, folks, because we, like them, are European descendant, and they want everyone to look like they are slaves so that they can be special and unique as the European banking and aristocratic elite. They want everyone else to be sick, weak, retarded, if not just ignorant and dumb, and under their control. That's the world they want. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. You'll eat the bugs and you'll like it. You have no rights and you'll have no say. They'll tell you what's good for you. They'll tell you what democracy is. You see why we're prepared? Do you understand why you need food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, and your means of self-defense? Do you see it? Do you understand it? I mean, they're coming at us from all directions. But overall, you should be able to see by now what it is they are up to. Uman, who is next? Uman says, it is my understanding that he can appoint his cabinet picks as interim for 210 days with a possible 210-day extension. Uman is talking about President Trump, President-elect Trump. He can make interim selections. That's correct. And the moment the Senate is adjourned, he'll just make them recess appointments and permanent. You see, it is political posturing on the part of the Senate. They are angry that they're not going to have authority over Trump, that they can't control Trump, that they can't cut a fat deal with Trump and go, hey, just give us what we want and we'll be sure to give you what you want. We promise. I think Trump did that for 4 fucking years. He tried being nice. He tried doing the art of the deal. Okay, quid pro quo. I give you something, you give me something. He'd give him something, then they'd shit on him. I hope he learned his fucking lesson. Don't give them shit. You don't have to. You're the president of the United States. You've got a mandate. And yeah, we all know that the president's beholden to the bankers, the massive corporations, the aristocrats. But Trump, he's not the way they are. At least, I mean, it's hard to believe that he's got no one controlling him, but doesn't that seem to be the reason that they're so threatened by him? Is he's not on their team. He's not controlled by them. And moreover, neither is Elon Musk. We got to keep our eye on him, though, folks. I will be watching Trump and Musk. I'll be watching RFK and Tulsi. I'll be watching all of them very closely. They need to turn this fucking ship around. Now, I know it's a big ship, the United States of America. Politically, socially, culturally, and legally, as well as economically, It's a big ship to turn around and send in the right direction, but it can be. Darcy T sent me an email and says, I see things from a biblical perspective. At some point, we will all be under one world control. It's just a matter of when. Darcy, I know that is the stated goal. That is the New World Order. I know that they want that. They, meaning these bankers, aristocrats. But do we have to accept it? Can it be postponed for 20 years or 200 more years? I know that when they freed us, that is to say, us peasants, they let us go so we could do our little experiment with this democracy and that democracy and this republic. And we'll try capitalism, and we'll try communism, and we'll try socialism, and we'll try fascism. We'll try all these different systems and see which one works the best, creates the most wealth, and which one gives the government the most power, because they've never left power, folks. The aristocrats, they just went behind the scenes and they controlled the banks and the corporations so that they can control the politicians. They never really walked away from power altogether. You know, King George, the Carolingian dynasty of France, the Louis, they're still there, folks. They never left and gave up the control. The royal family, the aristocrats are still there. And they still fucking hate us. They still think they're better than us. They still think they've got divine blood in their veins, that they're better than us. We're going to find out how this works. Darcy, do not give up hope. I know what they want. They're not going to give up either, but can we stop them? I think that we should rout them out like the demons they are and dispose of them permanently. Anyways, when I say dispose of them, I mean put them in the trash altogether. Man, who's up next? We've got name redacted. He says, how about the new FBI director goes to the innocent rank and file for the breadcrumbs of all the bullshit that's been pulled? If you spill enough beans, maybe you get to stay. Well, they definitely need to clean out the top floors. Okay, there's policies and procedures. There's rules and guidelines. They're already written. They're already in place. There's already attorneys advising the leadership on what they can and can't do according to the policies, procedures, rules, and guidelines. They can get rid of the top 3 floors at the FBI and bring rank and file members up. Trusted rank and file members, right? But just say, yeah, spill the beans is what Name Redacted is saying. I'm saying, okay, see something, say something. If you know of anybody in there who's been promoting unlawful, unconstitutional action, turn them in. Give them a chance to resign. I mean, right off the bat, I'd fire all 3 of the top floors and investigate and prosecute them for any crimes. Anyone else, I would say you get to confess. You will get amnesty if you're on the 4th, 5th, and 6th floor down from the top. If you've committed any unconstitutional crimes you would like to confess to, confess, and you will not go to prison. But confess to the crimes of the boys upstairs, the big dogs. Same with the attorneys. You're a government attorney. You work for the government, not the piece of shit bureaucrats that have been violating our rights, investigating us, stealing our property, stealing money. Just, they're fucking dirty. I don't know anybody that looks up to the FBI like, oh man, those guys are the best law enforcement, the best investigators, the most trustworthy and honest. No one looks at the federal government that way. If they knock on your door, call you on the phone, send you a letter in the mail, it's like, what do these fucking people want from me? Money? More threats, more fines, more penalties? Nobody likes the bureaucracy. Nobody. There's no love there. There's no service there. It is nothing but you're a slave and you're bad. And I tell you, Name Redacted, it's going to be quite interesting. I am sick and fucking tired of watching congressional investigations, and the FBI is subpoenaed and documents are subpoenaed, and they show up and go, we didn't bring them. Sorry, not going to do it. Too bad. Oh, here's a sheet of black. Everything is redacted. There you go. I don't like that. I don't think the FBI is above Congress. The FBI is the law enforcement executive branch. They're in the Department of Justice, that sort of thing. But you still have to answer to Congress, fuckheads. And Congress needs to get rid of bureaucracies as much as Trump does and cut their fucking budgets. And I think that the Department of Governmental Efficiency needs to really tell Trump, cut. He can do an Oprah Winfrey, and you get a cut, and you get a cut, and you get a cut. You're gone. I can't wait till all this happens. I'm fucking dying to see who gets cut and all the screaming and yelling. Enjoy a little bit of unemployment, federal workers. In fact, I read something that said in a typical work month, federal bureaucratic employees work 1, maybe 2 days going into the office. They just sit at home and collect a fucking paycheck and get second jobs. It is nothing but a money grubbing deal for them. They're just lining their pockets with money, federal benefits. They go out and get a second job, fucking us over, doing nothing. And if that's the case, and that's discovered, I won't be hard to discover. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that go, yep, that's how it works. There's going to be a lot of heads rolling, people getting fired, and hopefully prosecuted for fraud. Fine them for fraud. Make them sell their houses, sell their cars, sell all their bullshit to pay the fucking fines. Send their dumbasses to jail. This is what fraud gets you. Why is it so hard? And for me and you on this side, the blowback is going to be huge. The blowback against us for voting for Trump and wanting all this, the blowback is going to be huge. How they're going to punish us? We'll see. We'll see, folks. They're going to punish us with inflation. Everything that Biden has done is going to cause massive increases in inflation over the next several months and years. And there's nothing Trump can do that will stop it. He might be able to slow it down, make it less bad. And of course, the Democrats will blame him for every single thing. Right? They're going to blame him. And yes, as president, he's going to get to accept blame and credit. But if someone gave you a company, let's just say a manufacturing company, they put you in charge of it. And then on the first day, they start going, holy shit, you've lost money. You're not making any money. This company's failing. What are you doing? You're like, I just got here. They're like, we don't care. You're responsible. So that's what they're going to do to Trump. Expect it. Get ready for it because it is coming. And then they're going to want to punish us so that we blame Trump and go, man, that was a dumb decision. I don't think so. I don't fucking think so. But they're going to try. Trust me, folks. Punishment is punishment. It is. All right. Mr. Uman, who's up next? We've got Uman has something to say. He says, also seeing that the Potato Joe is now seeking $100 billion in emergency disaster aid for hurricanes Helene and Milton areas. Suddenly, it is urgently needed. Suddenly, he figured it out. I don't know what to say about that, man. That's just fucking ridiculous. That's just fucking ridiculous. Today, Biden was walking around lost. Big world summit, world leaders everywhere. He was already put in the back row and all the way to the right side for a group picture. He was one world leader from the end, in the back row. That is how little respect and gravitas President Biden has. Do you think Trump for a second would go over there? He'd be like front and center. is where the president of the United States belongs. Not off to the side, and certainly not in the back fucking row. That, my friends, that's Biden. That's the Democrats. America last. But yeah, he's going to come up with $100 billion for Americans. Really? Sorry, Biden. The election was a couple weeks ago. You're not helping anybody. Not going to help anybody with that. It is going to get nasty, folks. It really is. Yep. Burn down Trump houses. That's what they want. Burn down the country. That's what they want. Ooh, man, who's up next? What do we got? We got Diving Frog again. He says, it's come to my understanding that Zelensky cried and tried to spell run for 5 minutes after finding out Richard Simmons died. Oh, Richard Simmons, that little fruitcake. And he'd been doing the exercise videos when I was a kid. And I loved it. He called his girls that were overweight on his exercise show, right? You fatties. Get in here, you fatties, you little cows and piggies. I love that shit. Cracked me up. Talk about light in the loafers, Richard Simmons, but that's, yeah. Oh my God, they're coming for the gays. No one's coming for them. We just want you to shut up. All right. There's a lot of, shall we say, conspiracy theories. And conspiracy theories, folks, are always supported. Always. Well, I shouldn't say always. Nearly always supported with a little piece of evidence. A little piece of evidence. But a lot of times, have we or have we not had our conspiracy theories proven correct? No. Horse paste treats COVID. No, it doesn't. It's dangerous. It's bad. It's evil. It's wrong. It doesn't work. That's a conspiracy theory. Well, actually, it does work. Right? How many conspiracy theories have we proven right? That cerveza bug was a bunch of made up bullshit. Yeah, it was a shall we say, manufactured disease. It just didn't wipe out 1/5 of the world's population. But here's another theory, folks, that the elite corporations, Vanguard, BlackRock, those types, not them specifically, but those types, they're planning a financial blackout. Is that true? How would we know until it happens? Right? There's people trying to leak information, and there's people that just want to scare the hell out of everyone. Right? How do we know? Well, in response to Twitter, X, being successful, Democrats are very upset. Very upset. And so they want to leave Twitter, X, and go to something that's left-wing friendly, like Blue Sky. Well, guess what Blue Sky has turned into already? A bunch of pedophiles trying to meet up and sell information, and like pictures and videos of kids. That's right. It's already a pedophilia snowstorm. Blue Sky is. In addition to that, they're so busy snitching on each other that the platform operators cannot keep up with censorship requests because they're so busy offending each other. These lefties. They should have named it, instead of Blue Sky, they should have named it Safe Space. These whining fucking sissies. Hey, woke is dead and dying. It's dying and it's dead. It's going to be dead. But once again, it is a left-wing social media site, this Blue Sky. I'm not going to bother going there. Fuck it. Right? Because libs of TikTok and other right-wingers, they'll go on there and collect information and figure out what these fruitcakes are saying, the threats they're making, as well as hopefully turn them in. And I'm still continuing to get a kick out of these guys in America and indeed in Europe as well, that pose as little boys and little girls for meetups with these Democrat adults who want to meet children for sex. Expose them, they beat the shit out of them, have them arrested. There needs to be more of that, in my opinion, a whole lot more. Oh, boy. Man, what else have we got out there? We got Name Redacted, and he says, funny how the worst of the worst have identity and sex problems. Yeah, they're a bunch of absolutely awful, disgusting humans. That is what they are and how they act. Crazy business, folks. Now, they're not going to get any better. I mean, all through the election season, I kept pointing out how Democrat teachers and Democrat politicians were being arrested for violating the law, for being pedophile perverts, and making that a joke, saying, oh, we lost another presidential candidate, another nominee for the Supreme Court, right? Thank you, Name Redacted. Now, let's do this. Joe Biden apparently has now missed another family picture with the G20, right? The world leaders that we're meeting. Shocked. The reporters are shocked. Reporters are confused. Folks, Joe Biden was out there just wandering around amongst the G20 leadership, and they just ditched him. They're literally treating him like he's the fucking idiot kid. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Expect more. Senator Uncle Festerman, by the way, he doesn't know if he wants to be a Democrat or a Republican. He keeps saying things like exposing the Democrat Party, telling them that they've lost and that they don't know what the hell they're doing. And then he goes and he says the stupidest Democrat shit. I think he's out of his fucking gourd. I think that his brain trauma was real, true, and exists. But people are now thinking, well, we can flip him over. Look, we don't need more handicapped brains out there on the Republican side that don't know what side of the law they're going to stand on. So don't try and flip Festerman. Defeat Festerman. Let him defeat himself. Right? We don't need people who are on the fence as Republicans. We got plenty of them, like Senator Tim Scott and Light and the Loafers Lindsey Graham. We have problems with Senators Thune and John Cornyn, who can't decide if they like the First and Second Amendment. They can't decide if they like freedom and liberty in the Constitution. We have enough of that shit. Right? We have enough of that. Oh, boy, I tell you. Crazy, 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 folks. And it's not going to get a whole lot better, a whole lot quicker. Man, do we have a quick one, or are we going to we'll just settle with this? Very good. I think we're done for the day. Folks, I need you to trust me on this. The left are not giving up. Their bosses, their masters, another level higher, they're not giving up. Their bosses are people like Hillary, James Comey, right, Eric Holder, the Obamas, even the Bushes. This next level, the shall we say, they appear to be out of power, yet they still pull strings. They still get thrown out there, like John, right? Is it John Brennan? Who's the mustache? Bolton, mustache asshole. And then you've got former Vice President Dick Cheney. You got those level people who run around and they just kind of they're kind of like a sergeant at arms, right? They're punching the other guys, going, we're not going to give you money if you don't do what we say. And then you've got the layer of people that is out of our sight. We can't see who they are. They're not quitting and giving up. They're the true Illuminati. We don't have their names. Exactly. We don't know what they want, except we can guess based on their behavior throughout all history and what they're trying to do, which is destroy our nation. Chance favors the prepared mind, the patriotic mind. Get prepared, stay prepared, and know the rules. The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are our law. Godspeed. Semper Fi.